What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Cusco on the ones and twos, doing it big, never small, here with a sequel to a video I made not too long ago. Thank you guys so much for watching and interacting with my YouTube video I uploaded titled "We Need These Street Fighter 6 Characters in Year 3. I love reading you guys' comments, and I like seeing what characters you'd like to see in the future of Street Fighter 6. So if you guys haven't watched that video, be sure after this one to go watch it. It's a lot of fun, and let me know what characters that you're interested in joining Street Fighter 6. I had a lot of fun making that video, and I started thinking to myself, what characters don't I want to see in Street Fighter 6? So this video is going to be mildly a hater video, so just giving you a heads up, if I say that your character sucks, sorry. But at the same time, even though I will be dunking on some of these characters, I will at least be talking about how I believe they would be implemented within Street Fighter 6, as well as my suggestions of what their gameplay should be. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as that helps my channel out tremendously. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so very much, because I truly do love making these videos, and I just love talking about fighting games with you guys. Nakayama-san, the director of Street Fighter 6, took to Twitter and started discussing with fellow Twitter members about the absence of certain Street Fighter characters. I took a look at some of these tweets and thought, yeah, they need to stay absent. The first character that I never want to see return to Street Fighter 6 is El Fuerte. The electrifying zany luchador chef made his debut in Street Fighter 4, more specifically the vanilla arcade release back in 2008. He sports a vibrant personality with a love for culinary arts. El Fuerte participates in the international fighting tournament to encounter world-class fighters around the world to ask what they like to eat, essentially initiating a survey while also testing out his luchador skills. Now that description makes Forte sound like an angel, but it all goes downhill once you actually fight against an El Fuerte player. Forte is a slippery character that will stick to you like glue when he gets the chance. Sporting quite possibly the best mobility in the game, El Fuerte is able to run at his opponent as a special move. Much like Busin Ryu ninjas such as Guy, Kimberly, Maki, and Zeku, El Fuerte is able to cancel this action to a wide variety of moves. Forte kicks it up a notch by being able to do a backwards run into unique attacks during the animation. He is able to land ambiguous overheads, lows, and grabs, keeping the opponent hesitant for El Fuerte's next approach. Did I mention he can also jump off of walls? Forte's high mobility and potent mix-ups topped off with an overhead unique attack makes his character an absolute dread to fight against. What sets his character back is his very poor wake-up options once he gets knocked down, making him a character with really good offense but abysmal defense options and below average health. If El Fuerte makes his return to Street Fighter 6, I expect him to stand out from the entire roster. I expect El Fuerte to bend the rules of the game while also having a character specific mechanic much like Jamie's drink system. For this character specific mechanic, I would like to see a hot and cold progression system tailored specifically for him. Hear me out. Forte is a chef that loves spices. In Street Fighter 6, he should have a mechanic where he eats spicy dishes, and each dish he eats he gets faster due to his body getting hotter, and unlocks new moves. But as he gets hotter from all the spice he's consuming, he enters a faint stance where he passes out and has to regain composure, much like Sin in Guilty Gear and Borai Cho's Drunken Master in Mortal Kombat X if he doesn't cool down. To combat passing out, Forte would have to drink milk to cool off. This would take away his spice level, decreasing his speed and subtracting his moves, but prevents him from fainting. As far as bending the rules to Street Fighter 6, they can give him a traditional drive rush, as well as a drive rush where he runs backwards.
Hey yo, what the?
This is something that can be potent the higher his spice level is, giving him new attacks to propel himself forward after running backwards with the drive rush to grant him some additional plus frames. The spice and cooldown mechanics sprinkled on with the fact that El Fuerte would be able to do a backwards drive rush will leave the opponent constantly guessing. That is, until he knocks El Fuerte down. Well, El Fuerte will be very limited when it comes to waking up, meaning that for El Fuerte to succeed, he has to be very mindful of his resource management with the spice mechanic, as well as not getting knocked down, because that would be very scary. Next on the list of characters I don't want to see coming back to Street Fighter 6 is Gen. Introduced in the very first Street Fighter, later on becoming a playable character in the Alpha series being Street Fighter Alpha 2, Gen is an elderly martial arts master and former assassin that has a strong relationship with the art of fighting, being as dedicated to live and die by fighting. I'm not necessarily a Gen hater, but I would much rather have him on the sidelines and not make his own highlights to heat up for the fight of his life, which his life would depend on it, because he's old, you know. I don't know Gen's exact age, but just look at him. It looks like he has to lock in to survive everyday life. Regardless of his age, Gen's gameplay is for the technical player. Equipped with the ability to switch stances on the fly, Gen has double the normal attacks of your standard character while also having special moves tied specifically to a stance. Some of his special moves consist of a bicycle kick where each button you press upon activation adds additional hits. In older versions of Street Fighter 4, you have to time your hits in a rhythm for the full move to connect. They changed the way this move operates in Ultra Street Fighter 4 by allowing you to receive maximum hits of the bicycle kick by hitting the kick button repeatedly regardless of rhythm. Complementing Gen's toolset is his rapid puncture attack. Much like E Honda's 100-hand slaps and Chun-Li's lightning legs, Gen swiftly uses the tips of his fingers to deal damage to his opponent. Gen also has a move in his arsenal similar to Vega where he flies across the screen, bouncing off sides of the wall to engage an attack or feint, making your opponent second guess themselves on how to defend. It is up to the player to truly utilize Gen's vast arsenal of moves to optimize his gameplay. Gen's potential return in Street Fighter 6 would be the 200 IQ player's greatest dream. You know, the type of player that spends 3,000 hours a day in the lab practicing one sequence and then boasts to his friends about how his character requires a PhD to play? Yeah, that player. You can expect his playstyle to once again be technical with his ability to seamlessly transition between Mantis and Crane stance. One specific mechanic I'd like to see incorporated into Street Fighter 6 with Gen is a modernized Ultra 2. For those unfamiliar with Ultra 2 and Street Fighter 4 with Gen, is where he lands an attack and does no damage to the opponent. Instead, potential damage is done where Gen has to land his next hit to cash out on the damage. If Gen doesn't find an opening to land an attack, the potential life slowly regains. With Street Fighter 6, this move should come back and operate as his level 2, and instead of dealing potential life damage, instead it can deal potential drive gauge damage. This move would have to be neutral on hit or slightly positive so the opponent doesn't have to deal with a meaty setup that will lead them instantly into burnout. Gen could be a character that preys on his opponent's drive gauge. With his piercing strikes, his wide arsenal of moves thanks to his stances, he'll do whatever he can to exhaust you. I said all of that and I'm thinking to myself, dang, I kinda wanna play Gen in Street Fighter 6, that sounds fire. But no, Gen is an old man. Send him to the retirement home. Bring in some younger folks. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to sound ageist, but yeah, Gen, just chill, bro. We got this. We got this. The third character to join this list of people I don't want to see in Street Fighter 6, followed by a Forte and Gen, is Hakan. That is right, the oil Turkish wrestler, Red Man himself, is easily for me top 10 wackest Street Fighter characters ever. I'm not budging on that stance. I'll be a hater. If I can be a hater for 2 seconds, let me be a hater right now. Hakan is whack. Introduced in Super Street Fighter 4 along with fan favorite Jiri, Hakan is a family man who loves his wife as well as his 7 daughters. He hauls around a giant barrel so there's no shortage of oil when a fight breaks out. Hakan carries out the grappler archetype with some gimmicks and overall unique additions. With Hakan being a Turkish oil wrestler, oil is heavily involved in his gameplay and is on the player to keep him lubed up. This is done by doing a DP motion plus kick with the corresponding kick button affecting the duration of how long his oil buff lasts. It wasn't until Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition 2012 when he received the buff that allows him to start the match already oiled up. The oil grants Hakan a damage boost, defense boost, and allows him to break the rules of the game, granting him the ability to attack and move forward, in some cases backwards, simultaneously with his normals and focus attack. He has 2 different types of command grabs that both connect on a grounded opponent. One is the traditional one in the sense that you have to jump out of the way to avoid the attack, while the other one catches people trying to jump out of the traditional command grab. Complementing his special moves, he has a slide that propels himself forward with 2 different follow-ups. Pushing the punch button before the slide connects makes Hakan do a follow-up body splash attack, and pushing the kick button leaves damage on the table, but instead oils himself up. It wasn't until Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition that allowed Hakan to do the oil follow-up. I fully expect Hakan to keep all of his oil mechanics if he comes back with Street Fighter 6, meaning that his drive impact would be buffed with the oil applied, allowing him to move forward or backwards in the process. I think his drive rush will also benefit from the oil, allowing him to move quicker and cover more distance when the oil is applied. And then lastly, I do expect him to be able to recover some drive gauge when he's burnt out if he applies oil to himself. His supers would be a traditional command grab super as well as everyone's favorite ultra oil combination hold. One fun, I say fun, but I'm sure it would be annoying, but one interesting level 2 I would like to see from Hakan is that he gets his barrel of oil and he pours it all over himself, but he pours so much that it not only covers him, but it covers the whole ground of the stage, affecting the opponent, meaning that if Hakan were to lay in their straight hit like a stand medium kick or what have you, if it lands on the opponent, it would actually cause him to trip and fall, leading him to the knockdown. I don't believe this would be able to affect his combos in any way, but I feel like it would be something for the opponent to really look out for floor and try not to get hit by strays, otherwise you're going to be put into a blender scenario. The final entry into the list of characters I don't want to see return to Street Fighter 6 is guest characters. Street Fighter has a whole collection of amazing characters. The roster is huge for Street Fighter, and it just can't help but feel off that these characters are getting snubbed for guest characters to promote an upcoming game like City of the Wolves with Terry and Mai. Granted, the way they implemented Terry and Mai is great. I actually love those characters. Granted, I haven't played Mai yet, but Terry was a lot of fun, and then I've been seeing all the fluff and amazing additions they added with Mai. As a Street Fighter fan, I can't help but have mixed feelings towards the addition of guest characters, being the fact that Year 2 Season Pass, half of it was guest and half of it was Street Fighter, and it took up an entire year of the game's lifespan. I'm excited for more Street Fighter characters to come to Street Fighter 6, and if you want to know my takes on characters I would like to see, click on that video right there as I talk about my wish list for year 3 of Street Fighter 6. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making it, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Bye.